You've always been the nice one, the one who smiles, the one who helps, the one who never says no. Yes to this, yes to that, yes, yes, yes. Even when everything inside you is screaming no. On the outside, calm, agreeable, pleasant. On the inside, exhausted, resentful, invisible. And the worst part? The nicer you are, the more they take, until you become a doormat. But it does not have to be this way. Learning to say no is the most powerful thing you will ever do. Watch this video, because being too nice is quietly destroying your life.
You've probably heard it a million times: be kind. Always be nice. And sure, being a decent human is important. But what if being too nice is actually holding you back? Like, seriously holding you back from getting what you deserve. We're talking about those times you said yes when you wanted to scream no, or let someone walk all over you because you just wanted everyone to be happy. Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into why being too nice is a trap, and how to get out of it without becoming a jerk. Stick around, because this might just change the way you interact with everyone, forever. The illusion of niceness. We often mistake being agreeable for being nice. It's like wearing a smile mask, even when you're internally screaming. This isn't genuine kindness, it's a performance, a desperate attempt to avoid conflict or disapproval. People who constantly bend over backward to please others might be trapped in this illusion, believing that their constant yes is a sign of a good heart. In reality, it often stems from a fear of rejection, a deep-seated need for validation, or a misguided belief that everyone else operates on the same altruistic wavelength. This can lead to being taken advantage of, as others learn that your boundaries are more like suggestions that can be easily ignored. Think about that colleague who always volunteers for the worst tasks, never saying no, even when drowning in their own workload. They might seem incredibly nice, but are they truly happy doing it, or are they just afraid of appearing uncooperative? The illusion of niceness can be particularly insidious because it masquerades as virtue. It's the person who constantly agrees with everyone, even when they secretly disagree, just to keep the peace. This isn't fostering healthy relationships, it's building a fragile house of cards on a foundation of unspoken resentment. When you never express your true feelings or needs for fear of upsetting someone, you're not being nice, you're being a people pleaser. This can create a subtle imbalance in relationships, where one person's needs are consistently prioritized over the others, leading to burnout and a sense of being undervalued. It's the equivalent of constantly offering your last cookie to everyone else, leaving yourself with nothing. Genuine niceness, on the other hand, comes from a place of inner security and respect, both for oneself and for others. It involves setting healthy boundaries and communicating them clearly, even if it's uncomfortable. It's about offering help when you can, not out of obligation or a desperate need to be liked, but because you genuinely want to contribute. True kindness doesn't mean being a doormat, it means being assertive and compassionate simultaneously. Consider the friend who gently tells you when your behavior is hurtful, rather than silently fuming or gossiping about you later. That direct, albeit potentially awkward, conversation stems from a deeper care and a commitment to honesty, which is far more valuable than a superficial agreement. This illusion often crumbles when faced with real-world consequences. When your constant niceness leads to being overcommitted, stressed, and resentful, the mask inevitably slips. You might lash out unexpectedly or withdraw completely, surprising everyone who thought they knew your perpetually pleasant persona. It's like a leaky faucet, you can keep trying to plug it, but eventually, the water will find its way out. The key is to recognize that true connection and respect are built on authenticity, not on a manufactured facade of constant agreement. Learning to say no or to express a differing opinion isn't an act of aggression, it's an act of self-preservation and a crucial step toward building more honest and fulfilling relationships. The cost of constant compliance. Constantly agreeing with everyone, always saying yes to every request, and prioritizing others' needs above your own can feel like being a doormat. It's that pervasive feeling of being unable to say no for fear of disappointing someone, being disliked, or causing conflict. This isn't about being polite, it's about a deep-seated habit that erodes your own well-being. Think about it: if your friend asks you to help them move for the third weekend in a row, and you're already exhausted, but you agree anyway, that's the cost of constant compliance showing up. You sacrifice your much-needed rest for their convenience. This relentless need to comply often stems from a fear of rejection or a desire for external validation. People-pleasing becomes a survival mechanism, a way to ensure you're accepted and loved. However, this constant effort to keep everyone happy is exhausting. It drains your mental and emotional energy. You might find yourself overcommitted, spread too thin, and perpetually stressed. Your own goals and desires get pushed aside, buried under a mountain of favors and obligations you never truly wanted to fulfill. It's like running a marathon every day, but someone else keeps moving the finish line. The consequences extend beyond mere tiredness. When you consistently put others' needs first, you can develop resentment. That yes you so readily give starts to feel like a burden, a heavy weight on your shoulders. This resentment can poison your relationships, even though your intention was to nurture them. You might start to feel taken advantage of, and that can lead to passive-aggressive behavior or outright burnout. Your sense of self-worth can also take a hit. If your value is tied to your ability to please others, what happens when you can't? You begin to question your own importance. Ultimately, the cost of constant compliance is the erosion of your own life. You become a supporting character in everyone else's story, rarely getting to be the protagonist of your own. Your boundaries blur, your personal time vanishes, and your capacity for genuine connection diminishes because you're always performing a role, not being your authentic self. It's a high price to pay for a fleeting sense of approval that, ironically, often doesn't even last. Setting boundaries and asserting value. Establishing clear boundaries isn't about being mean, it's about recognizing your own worth and communicating it effectively. Think of it like owning a house. You wouldn't let strangers just wander through your living room, right? Boundaries are the invisible fences around your time, energy, and emotional space. When you consistently overextend yourself or allow others to take advantage, you're essentially leaving your front door wide open. This often stems from a fear of disappointing people or a misguided belief that being overly accommodating is the only way to be liked. However, constantly saying yes when you mean no leads to resentment, burnout, and a diminished sense of self-respect. Asserting your value means understanding that your needs and limits are just as valid as anyone else's. It's about recognizing that your contributions, whether at work or in personal relationships, have inherent worth and deserve to be respected. This isn't about demanding special treatment, it's about ensuring fair and equitable interactions. Learning to say no gracefully is a fundamental skill. It doesn't require elaborate excuses. A simple, direct "first can't commit to that right now" or "that doesn't align with my current priorities" is often sufficient. For instance, if a colleague constantly asks you to take on extra tasks when you're already swamped, you might respond, "First, appreciate you thinking of me, but my plate is full with the current project deadlines. First, need to focus on completing those tasks first." This communicates your limitation without being rude or overly apologetic. It's also crucial to recognize when others are pushing your boundaries. If someone consistently interrupts you, dismisses your opinions, or makes unreasonable demands, it's a sign that your boundaries need to be reinforced. This might involve a more direct conversation, stating clearly what behavior is unacceptable. Remember, setting a boundary is often a proactive measure to prevent future issues, rather than a reactive response to a crisis. Asserting your value also involves advocating for yourself in professional settings. This could mean negotiating a fair salary, asking for a promotion you've earned, or ensuring your workload is manageable. For example, if you've consistently exceeded expectations in your role and taken on additional responsibilities, you have a strong case for a raise. Research industry standards, document your achievements, and present your request confidently. Similarly, if you're consistently working late nights and weekends without adequate compensation or recognition, it's time to discuss workload management with your supervisor. This isn't about being demanding, it's about ensuring that your efforts are recognized and rewarded appropriately. When you fail to assert your value, you implicitly signal that you are willing to accept less than you deserve, which can perpetuate a cycle of underappreciation. Ultimately, setting boundaries and asserting your value is an ongoing practice, not a one-time event. It requires self-awareness, courage, and consistent reinforcement. It's about building healthy relationships based on mutual respect, where your contributions are acknowledged and your limits are honored. Think of it as tending to your own garden. You need to prune the unruly branches, unhealthy demands, and nurture the healthy growth, your well-being and contributions. This allows your garden to flourish, attracting positive interactions and repelling those that drain your energy. It's a journey toward self-empowerment, where you become the architect of your own interactions, ensuring they are supportive, respectful, and ultimately, more fulfilling for everyone involved. Reclaiming your power. Reclaiming your power isn't about becoming a ruthless dictator or a cold-hearted cynic. It's about recognizing that your inherent worth isn't tied to your ability to please everyone. Sometimes, being overly nice can feel like you're constantly running on a treadmill, expending energy without actually going anywhere, and that's exhausting. You might find yourself saying yes to things you dread, feeling resentful later, and wondering why your own needs always seem to take a backseat. This cycle erodes your self-esteem, making you feel like a doormat rather than a capable individual. Think about it like this: if you always give away your last cookie, eventually you'll have no cookies left for yourself. Reclaiming your power means understanding that your time, energy, and emotional well-being are valuable resources. It involves setting healthy boundaries, which are not walls to keep people out, but rather guidelines that protect your space and energy. For instance, if a colleague consistently dumps extra work on you at the last minute, a boundary might be politely stating, "First can help with that, but first need at least 24 hours notice to ensure First can complete it properly." This isn't mean, it's practical and respects your own capacity. This reclaiming process also involves learning to say no without feeling an overwhelming wave of guilt. It's okay to decline an invitation if you're feeling drained, or to refuse a request that overextends you. Saying no to something that doesn't serve you is, in essence, saying yes to yourself and your own priorities. It's about prioritizing your mental and emotional health, which is just as important as any external achievement. When you start honoring your own limits, you'll notice a shift. People will begin to respect your boundaries, and you'll feel a renewed sense of agency and control over your life. Furthermore, reclaiming your power means recognizing that your kindness should be a choice, not an obligation. You can be compassionate and empathetic without sacrificing your own needs or allowing others to take advantage of your good nature. It's about finding that sweet spot where your generosity is balanced with self-respect. When you stop seeing your kindness as a weakness and start viewing it as a strength that you wield consciously, you empower yourself. This shift allows you to engage with the world from a place of authenticity and strength, rather than from a place of fear or people-pleasing. So remember, being kind is fantastic, but don't let it be a doormat for others. Set boundaries, value your own time, and understand that saying no sometimes is actually a yes to yourself. You deserve respect, just as much as anyone else. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our next video where we'll dive into how to spot those energy vampires trying to suck the life out of your day.